So again, I want to thank you guys so much for being here. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay, good. So I want to tell you guys a story. I know you guys aren't here for me or anything like that. I'm going to be brief, but I just want to tell you guys a story of a gentleman that I know very, very well. This man that I know, he's a very insecure person. Anyone struggle with insecurities out there? Know what I'm talking about? Be honest. Wait, keep that hand up. No, just kidding. I think we've all struggled with it one time or another. But it was so bad for this gentleman that it affected every area of his life. He would go so far to please people, to find acceptance and approval from people, that he would sacrifice his own happiness, his own joy. It affected his work, it affected his marriage, it affected just everything that he did, his ministry, everything. It got so bad that my wife, who's been with me, this is my wife, Casey, by the way. Casey, this is everyone. We've been together for 15 years, been married for 12, so she's been with me for a long time. She's never seen, okay, I just gave it away. It's me I'm talking about. So yes, it is me. And what I'm talking about, I'm sharing a true story with you guys. I'm sharing with you my struggles. I'm being transparent. I feel like that's an issue we have as pastors, and a lot of pressure we put on ourselves, not necessarily from people, but we put on ourselves, like we have to have everything together. Everything's perfect, everything's marvelous, family's good, work is good, ministry is good, and I'd be lying to you if that was the case. It's not always like that. It's not always sunshine and rainbow. So I'm here to tell you, to be honest, regardless of what you think or anything like that, I'm being real with you. I do struggle with insecurities. I have for most of my life. I would strive for people's approval. I would extend myself so much to the point where I said I wasn't happy. I would steal my own joy. And like I said, my wife has known me for a long time, and recently, the last year or so, has been so bad that she could just see it on me, just walking around in everyday life. That's how bad it was. She's never seen it so bad before. It stemmed from hurts from people that meant a lot to me, a lot of people that I really let close into me, hurt me, other things take place. And it's all rooted from the enemy. It really, really is. But anyway, so here I am. I'm struggling with all these things, but I'm here trying to do a ministry. Every week we do this. Every Tuesday night we do this, and we're trying to help other people, but I'm in a position where I'm a wreck myself. My head is just all over the place, and I just can't think straight. I go to these lunches every other month or so with pastors in the Upper Valley because I feel it's important to be connected to other ministries and other pastors and stuff like that. So I end up going to these lunches and stuff, but I'm so insecure about myself, I just don't really say much of anything. I'm just there. I'm just a body at this table. And so this got so bad, it was controlling, like I said, every area of my life. It was affecting my relationship with my kids, my wife, my work, everything. I wasn't doing a great job at work, and because of that, I was losing work. Because I was being so insecure, I was just such a wreck, and it carried over to depression. And honestly, I never struggled with depression before. I've heard of people, and if I can be real, if that's okay, I actually look down at people that struggle with depression because I always thought to myself, well, you're just not trying hard enough. If you really wanted to get out of it, you could just do it. Just, kind of will your way through it. But after going through it, I understand that that's not exactly how it works. No, I never got on medication or anything like that, and I'm not knocking people that are on it or anything like that. I'm just saying for me, I never did that. I didn't even understand what it was. I would have just enough energy to go to work. I was exhausted all the time. I had no motivation to do anything else. As soon as I get home, I'd basically just sit in the chair and I'd take a nap because I was tired. I had no energy. I didn't want to do anything. I had no motivation to do nothing. And I didn't know what it was for the longest time. And about a month ago or so, we went to Burlington to help friends of ours that are sitting in the back. They're called the Carols. They do tent revivals. Wonderful, wonderful people. They spoke last night. And so anyways, we went up there to help them set up a tent. They were doing a week-long service in Burlington. Now we're talking like a big, how big is the tent? 40 by 60, right? 40 by 60, okay? It's no like just small little thing. And there was 6 adults, right? 6 adults. That was it. Just putting this tent up. So after, everything we had to try to get this tent up, there was a moment when it was just Brother Carroll and I, and we had a moment. He shared a word with me. And that moment, that word changed my life. We were actually talking about it today at lunch. How one word about a month ago has drastically changed. He says he even noticed it. He noticed how I was behaving and how I acted and how I carried myself up there, and the difference just here we are today. Am I saying that I'm perfect, or am I saying I'm completely set free? No, it's still a battle. But they did a tent revival the last 2 weeks in Bennington. We went last week. They're from Bennington, if you couldn't tell. That's their hometown. So we went there last week, and when we were sitting there in the service, he shared another word with me. And guess what he asked me to say? Guess what? Here I am. I don't even like myself, really. If I could just be honest, I'm not one of those arrogant people that think I'm all great and wonderful and, everything I do is just marvelous and everyone should praise me. No, it's quite the opposite. I don't like anything I do, really. Everything I do is never good enough. Anyone can relate, understand what I'm saying? It always falls short. You never do anything right. Always feel like a mistake. Always feel like everything you touch and you're a part of is just a mess up and a screw up. That's me. That was most of my life, to be honest with you. But he gave me a word that night and says, this is how God views me, okay? He says, you're a warrior. Now, try to figure out someone like me that thinks I'm this, I'm that, I'm awful, I don't do anything right, I don't belong being doing this, I'm not smart enough, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough time, everything. And God says, I'm a warrior. And I'm not here to talk about preach a message of how God has done this, all of this, and everything else. But I'm sharing that because I want you to know, regardless whatever you're going through, regardless whoever you are, regardless what the enemy tells you in your head and says that you're not good enough, that you're not smart enough, you're not popular enough, you're not athletic enough, you're not rich enough, you're not whatever the case may be, good looking enough, whatever, you fill in the blank. We've all said it one time or another, or we've had the enemy tell us that one time or another, because I know I've had those thoughts all the time. I've had those thoughts. And so you guys understand what I'm saying. I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand if I'm talking directly to you. You can understand we've all experienced it one time or another. But I'm here to tell you that God says you are something different, and God says that you're a warrior. We're living in a generation where we can't play games anymore with God. We got enough of this lukewarm Christians. God's not looking for some more of that. We got plenty of that. He's actually looking for some warriors to rise up, because especially in this state that we live in, it's the least church state in the country. Yes, we have Clayton up here, and he's going to get you guys, excited and passionate again and bring it back to your city and stuff like that, or the carols and stuff. But when all these people leave, who's here? It's us. It's up to us. God's counting on us. He's counting on warriors to rise up. He's counting on us to make a difference, to be the light in a dark place. You could come up with all the excuses in the world all day long. Well, this happened to me when I was a kid, or, my spouse won't let me do this and stuff like that. No one should have that type of control over your walk with God. No one. No one should stop you for living for Him, regardless. There's no excuse. When it comes the day when we see God face to face, it's not going to say, well, Lord, I would have lived for you if this didn't happen to me. Or I would have lived for you if my spouse said it was okay. That's not going to fly with God. God's not going to be like, oh, I got it. No problem, no biggie. No, we are responsible for ourselves, our own walk. No one could stop us. No one but ourselves. If you want it bad enough, it's just like if there's a will, there's a way, right? If you want it bad enough, you will do it. You will do anything it has to. That's why it touches me so much to see people drive so far to come here for one night. It's because you want it bad enough. And that's what the Lord is looking for. He's looking for warriors. He's looking for people. Brother Carroll, I'm not a loud type of guy anyways, but Brother Carroll asked me, I joked with him the other day, but he's always saying, who are you? And he's a loud guy. So he's like, who are you? I'm a warrior. He's like, what? I'm a warrior. He'd make me keep saying it until I got louder and louder. He still wasn't ever happy with how loud I was because I was never loud enough. And I joked with him the other day that I texted him. I texted his wife and said, "Can you tell Brother Carol that I'm a warrior? Just say it real loud for me." But that didn't fly. But I'm serious. It's a time where we need to rise up. There is no more excuses. I know it's tough out there. I know we live in a dark time. I know the world and the country's going down. I understand that. But that shouldn't stop us from living for Him. Time is too short. There are people dying every single day. How bad do you want it? Do you want to see God move? I know I do. We don't do this just for us to give us something to do on a Saturday, September 3rd. No, we do this because we want people to be changed. We want lives to be touched. And we want people to take the fire that you get from here and take it back to your city and make a difference. Because it's just like Jesus. When He was here walking and roaming the earth, He couldn't do it all by Himself. He had disciples. And the best thing that ever happened, believe it or not, was when He left. Because when He left, then the Holy Spirit was able to reside in every single one of us, and it was able to cover all places. Have you ever stopped and think about what would happen if Jesus actually stayed and the Holy Spirit never came? If we wanted a healing, if we wanted a miracle, we would have to travel all the way to Jerusalem or wherever He is and stand in the line of millions and millions of people waiting for our turn to have that healing touch. You ever stop and think about that? No, we are blessed with an opportunity to have the Holy Spirit live inside of us. Greater is He who lives inside of us than he that's in the world. I mean, the very Spirit that lives inside of us raised Jesus from the dead. I mean, do you understand that? Do you understand how great our God really is? Do you understand how great the Holy Spirit is that lives inside of us and what we're capable of doing? Don't tell me that you're not smart enough. Don't tell me that you're not able to do it. With God, all things are possible. And I'm telling you that He needs warriors. And as you guys can see this caution tape up here, I put this up for a reason. And if Casey could play the music for me. I want to do something. I hope it doesn't mess Clayton up or anything. But I want to do something. I'm asking you, if that's you as a warrior, I want to ask you to come up. And the reason why there's caution tape here, because you have to enter it with caution. You have to understand what you're boldly stating, that you're willing to lay down your life, you're willing to lay down your wants, your desires, and everything for Jesus Christ, to live fully for Him. No more playing games. It's just, we're done with that. God is asking for so much more. If we really want to see God move in our cities, it is time that it starts right now. We don't have to wait a week from now. We don't have to wait till we actually feel it. No, it can happen right now. You could leave here changed forever. You can leave here and take it back to the city with you and make a difference right where you're at. Whether it's 1, 2, 100 of you, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. God has called you to this time, to this season, to this generation right now. There's a reason why you are here September 3rd, 2017. There's a reason why you are alive during this time. There is. You are not an accident. I don't care what you've done. I don't care where you've been. I don't care about any of that stuff, and neither does God. He's ready to meet you right where they're at. He says, let's do this. He's ready for His warriors to rise up. Now, whenever you're ready, go ahead. I want my warriors to come up, and I'm asking you to do a bold statement. It's not about, I'm not trying to embarrass anyone, but I'm asking you to be bold. Are you willing to be a warrior? Are you willing to stand up for the cause of Christ? Are you willing, regardless if you lose friends or even lose family members, are you willing to make that risk, to take that chance? And if you are, I want you to come up and break down this caution tape. I want you to tell Jesus that I'm willing to give it all. I don't care what people say. Go ahead, break that. Break it. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if I was to ask you guys, who are you? You guys would say, warriors! That's what I'm talking about. That's right, warriors. Every single one of you are warriors. You may not feel it. There's going to be times where you feel down, you feel defeated, you may feel alone, you feel, well, I messed up too bad yesterday, Lord. You're still a warrior. Don't forget it. Please don't forget it. You are meant for a time such as now. You really are. And don't ever think that God is ever going to stop loving you. thing that's crazy about his love is it's unconditional. It's a love that we would never understand here on earth. Unconditional. It's not based on your behavior. He's not going to stop loving you, ever. And I'm just so proud of you guys that you guys are willing to take that stand. Look at you guys. We may be small in numbers, but I'm telling you, warriors. You guys ever see the movie 300? You know what they were able to do with just 300 people? Trained, ready for battle. There's going to be times where you're weary. There's going to be times where you're worn out, exhausted. You feel like you can't go on anymore. Oh, yes, you can. A warrior stands up, keeps pressing forward. You can do that. You are not alone. God is with you. He will never leave you or forsake you. Thank you guys so much for coming up.